So is that all for Tesla this week, or was there anything else that's exciting? Like,
We kind of went down a weird road.
yeah, we did.
Weird tangent
That's
there.
what we do. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
Yeah, there's some other stuff going on. This I thought
Look at all those batteries.
A bunch of double A's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, people who are just listening.
So I just brought up on the screen here the new Megapack battery project with PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric, which is like think of LA generally. And this is so the new battery project with PG&E and Tesla and a few others was approved recently, and now they're gonna go start on this project of installing one of the world's largest battery backup systems for PG&E customers which is generally like around the Los Angeles area.
Wow.
Now this one has these Megapack things, which are different than the Power Pack. They're 23 feet 5 inches long, or
7.14 meters. if I'm translating it, it's like it's 7.14 or so.
Yeah. And it's 5 foot 3 inches wide.
Yeah, like 1.6 meters.
There you go. And it's a part of this giant thing that they're installing. There's several different companies here. The Megapack can have a huge amount of energy, and it looks like they're going to deploy 449 of them.
Wow.
Which is a lot.
Why not 450?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Just like 449. Done.
And then how many people like doing the planning and talking about it just say 450, and then it's going to come through with 449 on like the final thing to sign off on, and someone's going to reject it?
Yeah.
Because like, they said it was 450.
But and these Megapacks, we've seen these like in Australia before, right? So this is the industrial grade, like the kind of grid solution thing.
Yeah, generally, yeah. Now the naming I think is a bit different because I think this is technically a new product from Tesla. But it's like a 25 versus 32 ounce jar of mayonnaise. Like, is it a different product just because the jar is the different size? It's not like there's something majorly different here, other than the packaging of it. So yeah, this was Monterey County Planning Commission unanimously approved this, and it's going to be a big deal. So renewable energy coming, battery backups coming, and yeah, more good stuff for Tesla Energy. This is honestly, I think, one of the biggest bright spots for Tesla. Like, it's just such a less controversial, less difficult thing. Like, you don't really need to market this, right? You just kind of say, hey, it works and it's going to save you money. Okay, good. Like, that's what I like. Okay. And like, oh, have you done it before? Oh, yeah, we did this one in Tau, and then we did this one in Australia, and we did this one in Kauai. Yeah, and you're like, okay, cool, you've done it before. It's going to save us money. It's good for everyone. Let's do it. It's like a much easier thing than like, your Mercedes sucks. Get this one. This is like how you have to market cars sometimes.
So do you know, is this going to be sort of like taking the place of a gas peaker plant kind of thing? Like, is it only going to kick in when it's over volume or whatever? Or are they going to like store energy from wind and solar and then at night use that at night kind of thing?
Yeah, it's for energy storage. So it is going to replace 3 gas power plants, it's saying here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
Really?
that will be great. And usually the way that these things work from what I've researched is the peak demand is the biggest problem. So for a video, I'm doing a bunch of research, and it looks like most power plants in California operate on a consistent basis below 50% capacity. So we have a huge, there's a lot of headroom there, because when everyone gets home from work and they flip on their TV and their air conditioners and all the things, you have this giant spike of energy needs. Mm-hmm. And so you have to design a system that can handle the peaks, kind of like the autopilot computer, how it's like 93% unused at all times. Because there's that one moment when it needs to figure something out immediately, and it needs all that extra room for that. So so this will help with all those things and all the data and stuff we've seen before. And I'm not an expert in the energy field, but all the stuff, all the headlines even are all saying that The response time, the frequency they call it, is even better from an electric source than a natural gas peaker plant. And so in theory, it's one of those things where like it is a better mousetrap. It just is better all around. So, so hopefully
the thing with a digital and smart pack like this is it can respond virtually instantly, like in milliseconds to demands, as opposed to, peaker plants and the way those big, energy storage, like, you have to spin up a turbine and do all these things and ramp up and there's inertia involved in a lot of those things to make sure that things, so that's supposed to be one of those things that will really, it saved Australia a lot of money already just because it solved a lot of their blackout and their rolling blackout issues that would just kind of like trip all of their stuff and they lose power and blah, blah, blah. And then they have to pay a bunch of money to fix it. And
it's like how your computer will have things in memory versus on disk.
Yeah.
Right. Or like a solid state disk versus a old school, like spinning disk.
Yep.
Right. It's just the solid state is infinitely faster, it seems.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially at certain tasks, like it can just access memory really virtually instantaneously. Yeah.
Yep. So good stuff and more to come. I'm sure this will be talked about hopefully at Battery Day coming up in April. But
I'm getting more and more excited about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this wasn't on our docket, but the whole story about the lithium iron phosphate batteries out of China.
Yeah.
That's kind of a big deal.
Well, I thought we did talk about it last week, didn't we?
Was it last week?
Oh, we kind of mentioned it, I think. I don't know if we full-blown talked about it. We mentioned that Galley had that video.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean...
It's been a blur this last week.
Same. But yeah.
So tell me about it, Joe. What do you know?
We didn't plan this, so this is off the top of my head. But actually, like last week, I did that video on the cobalt problem, and I guess Monday was when it came out. But so we're working on ways of creating battery storage that doesn't contain cobalt. And one of the people I actually talked to was Mark Kohler, who works at Lithium Works. We met him down at Fully Charged Live. But they make a lithium iron phosphate that doesn't have any cobalt in it. LFP is what they call it because Fe is the scientific thing for I can't talk for iron. But anyway, so it's up on the screen now. So they are contracting with CATL or CATL, however you pronounce it, in China for their long range plus batteries, I believe. And it has literally no cobalt in it at all. So
that's awesome.
That's really cool.
In your video, I thought it was really interesting how you talked about the percentage of cobalt in EV batteries versus, say, a cell phone battery. And if I remember, it was like the cell phone battery was 50% cobalt or something, and the EV battery was like 1%. But because an EV has 10,000 batteries in it, it en masse has more, which that's all that matters, right? But in terms of use of cobalt, it was a much more efficient use of it, I guess.
Well, so I don't have the numbers. I never actually was able to pull up the numbers or anything, but there's also a lot more cell phones and digital cameras and
of course
laptops and computers and everything that use those types of batteries than EVs out there.
Total cobalt usage has to be significantly more just on all
for
those devices.
The haters out there that are like, EVs are, look at what they're doing. It's like, put down the phone, right? Stop using that laptop. Yeah. Don't use a TV. Get one of those cathode ray tubes.
Yeah.
That weighs 800 pounds.
Oh, God. Yeah. Hey, thanks for checking us out, guys. I hope you enjoyed this clip from our podcast.
We do a weekly show here on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe to Our Ludicrous Future, where we discuss all the things that are going to make our future totally ludicrous.
You can join us here on YouTube or at any of your favorite podcast places. Plus, if you want to get some behind-the-scenes stuff and join a cool community, you can help support the channel at patreon.com. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.